Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for your patience here as we get started just a couple of minutes after 2 o'clock on the East Coast. I am absolutely excited to spend a few minutes with everybody this afternoon and be joined here by my colleague who will introduce in just a second to talk to you all about VoiceAI and the really exciting and fun things that we've been working at here at CallTrackingMetrics. And so hopefully we'll have an engaging discussion today, share some new information about what we've been building and why we think it's super valuable to all of you and show you a little bit about how it works. We'll share as we go through this a live number you can call if you want to see it in action during or after the webinar today. But really excited to get started here. And so if we go here to the next slide, and then the one after that, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. So I am Chris Lafferty, the VP of Product and Technology at CallTrackingMetrics. I've been in the product and business space for almost 20 years here. Really excited to have joined CallTrackingMetrics about a year ago. We've been building some really exciting stuff on the team here, and it's just been a great journey. I'm really excited about the future of CallTrackingMetrics and where the business is going. And this is just such an exciting time to be in this space. So that's me. I'll let Jason introduce himself, and then we'll cover some housekeeping rules and go from there. Oh, Jason, I think you're muted there.
Wouldn't be a Zoom meeting if we didn't have a mute snafu. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jason Smith. I'm the Senior Manager of Professional Services here at CallTrackingMetrics. I've been with the company for about 10 years now and really excited about this new chapter. I think this is truly going to be the future of customer service.
That's great. Thanks, Jason. So just a couple of really quick housekeeping items before we jump into the substance here. You'll notice in the webinar here, there is a Q&A at the bottom. Feel free to use that to ask specific questions. We have a few folks that are going to be monitoring the Q&A live. There's obviously a chat as well that I see a few folks on, but the Q&A is a great place to go ask some questions. We will answer them via the Q&A section as we go. If there are good ones for discussion, we're also going to have a Q&A session for Jason and I toward the end. But please feel free to use that as we go. No need to wait until the end. We also will have the links for the free gift at the end as well. So stay on so you get that link, and we're happy to provide that. Great. So let's jump in a little bit. I want to set the stage and just talk for a couple of minutes about why we think, voice AI is important, why we're in this space, why it still matters now. And fundamentally, phone calls are still super important. So voice AI agents answering calls, making calls is still an important part of the kind of business ecosystem right now. We know that 60% of consumers still contact businesses by phone. So if you think about day-to-day use cases, you have a plumbing emergency in your house, you pick up the phone, you need to make a phone call. If you have a B2B sales context where you have kind of outbound calling for SDRs, that is a huge opportunity to make phone calls. So there are still live phone calls happening all the time. We don't think this is going away anytime soon. We just think it's going to get more efficient. And so if we go to the next slide here, we'll talk a little bit about how the expectations are changing, where when people are making these phone calls, they're expecting them to be answered. People are getting frustrated when they have to leave voicemails or when they can't get information in real time. There's quite a bit of immediate gratification expectations. And so when you make a phone call now, you want it to be picked up. You want it to be able to answer your questions, and you want it to work. And so if there's a high volume of calls, if there's a lot of complex information out there, these AI agents, which we'll talk about, really are super powerful at being able to have that information at their disposal, be available 24/7, and answer as many phone calls as may come in as kind of things scale up and down. CTM has been in the space for a while. If you go to the next slide here, Jason, have started with AI. This is not new for us. The kind of communication sphere that we're in has been our bread and butter for over 10 years now. And so, it's fair to say that there's a lot of companies out there that have launched something in the AI space. Everybody claims to be an AI company now. There's a lot of new players popping up all the time. But this is us. We've been here for quite some time. This is not new to us. We have been building with AI since day one. We have been working with early machine learning and NLP models, and then have recently switched over to Gen AI. And so we have a wealth of expertise here that is not necessarily as common in the space. And so while some of the technology is newer, our use of it and our use of the background and the history of being in this call space provides a pretty substantial kind of unique place for us to make sure we are differentiated and able to offer really leading industry solutions for voice AI. You'll also notice on this slide in the upper right-hand corner, I mentioned that there is a talk to our voice AI number. Feel free to call this, feel free to jot it down. We'll share this obviously after the webinar as well, because I would like you to stay on and listen to me and Jason for the next few minutes. But this is just a sample voice AI that you can call. It will answer questions about what we have to offer. It can collect some information from you, just to give you a sense of how these agents interact and how you can get a sense out of that. So what's going on that's made this space a little bit better? In the last year, there's been a lot of talk about voice AIs. There's been a lot of buzz about this. There's been some early ones that I think have come out that weren't so great. And this is a space that has been evolving very quickly, and one that we have been adopting and adapting to extremely quickly. And so what we've been doing here is really working to make it much simpler to set up your voice AI in the first instance, so that you can set up multiple different ones for different use cases. You can set them up for, again, inbound calling, outbound calling. We'll go through a few use cases in a few minutes here, but really we want to get you started in a very intuitive way. And so I'm excited in a few minutes for Jason to go into the platform and show you just how easy it is to get those set up. We are leveraging some of the best LLMs that are out there, and making sure that as technology improves, we are constantly evaluating the models that are out there and picking the ones that work best for this type of use case. Similarly with voices, there are now in the ecosystem thousands and thousands to choose from, and we have spent a lot of time curating and customizing the options for our users to make sure that you can select different voices from different regions of the world, with different tones, different ages, different levels of formality in their tone. And so there is quite a bit of customization that you can do there from the voice options. And really also then powering that with a lot of the power that CTM kind of already brought to the table in terms of making sure that you have, transferability, ability to go to voicemail, capturing data from your call, recording the conversation and doing analysis on it. We've always done that with our calls, and we have now deployed that kind of functionality to the voice AI as well. So if you're familiar with CTM, you know just how powerful our standard kind of call tracking and call making platform is. And all that functionality that you may have used and loved, hopefully, is also available with the Voice AI platform. And so for us, this isn't just the Voice AI agent; it's the combination of the Voice AI agent with the power of CTM. And we've, again, been in this space for a while. We've got a lot of use cases that we've already identified, either in actual customers that are using us or conversations that we've had with our customers. And so just to kind of share a couple at a high level, there are hundreds that we've identified, but a couple just to go into really quickly. In the finance space, we have some customers that kind of use us to answer questions from folks that are calling in to answer quick kind of policy lookups or billing questions or claim statuses. You can connect these voice AIs to other sources of information, and so they can be informed, which is really cool and really powerful. In the legal space, these can be used as very initial intake ones. If you're running a large personal injury shop, for example, and you really only want to work on motor vehicle accidents in 15 states, you can ask a few qualifying questions up front about where the accident took place before you spend time on the phone with the paralegal or before it moves on. So there's really powerful kind of intake and screening questions that can be asked in a very secure way for the legal industry. Agencies are a huge component of our users already. Marketing agencies use us in a lot of different ways. And are able to kind of deploy kind of these voice AI agents to their sub agencies and to use it on behalf of some of their customers as well. Make sure that there's 24/7 coverage and kind of uniform qualification across the different types of accounts that they have. And so there's a real robust kind of use case there for them. And we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about agencies in particular as well. We've also seen a lot of use cases in healthcare, and because of CTM's history, we are HIPAA compliant. That's been part of kind of who we are for a while. We've had a number of healthcare clients in the past, and so you can think about a dental group in this instance who might use us for the pre-qualifying emergency stuff. If you don't want to have pay for a very expensive answering service, you can use a voice AI that might be able to kind of trigger a text messaging emergency alert where the doctor then calls back. It can also be used to do appointment reminders and other kind of intake scenarios as well. Home services, I mentioned the plumbing example earlier. People, need to make calls a lot in this space still, whether that is home services related to, plumbing or HVAC, roofing. It can also be lawn service, lawn care. There's a lot that people want to talk about here, and a lot of these are small businesses where the people answering the phone are also in the field. And so it's great to be able to have somebody that is calling and asking for some basic information up front, and there's an agent that answers the phone and answers questions, but then it can even schedule, which is really, really powerful. And then another example in e-commerce, again, lots of ordering that can happen online. And again, people shop at all hours of the day, so you want to be able to have kind of 24/7 accessibility, and that is a super powerful way to make sure that people always have somebody to get in touch with. In our situation, as I mentioned, we've been in the space for a while. We've had voice AI that we've been kind of working with some of our customers for already, and a few specific things. We've already seen really strong ROI use cases for our customers. A big senior living community that has used voice AI has really decreased administrative tasks and the time spent on some of these more repeatable things like booking tours for some of the facilities. That's been a phenomenal time savings for some of the those centers. We've also been working with a lawn care company that uses us, and this has reduced handling time. Again, a lot of times there's it's difficulty to kind of staff the right amount of agents or the right number of people, so there can be wait times. Voice AIs can scale up and down as needed, and so there's really no waiting for the next agent. The voice AI is always there; it's always ready to pick up, and so handling times can really go down as well, which is really exciting. There's a lot of reasons I've already kind of covered that differentiate CallTrackingMetrics from the other providers out there. I've kind of covered all this. There's a lot of words on the screen here. I'm certainly not going to read them all to you, but just a couple of the big highlights. Again, this is where we started. This is where we're going to go. This is the space we're in. This isn't just something we're kind of dabbling in. We really want to be able to kind of build on the the functionality that has already existed within CTM that has made it so powerful. And so when you work with us and with our voice AI agents, you're getting that functionality, but you're also kind of getting everything in one platform. So your call tracking, your call analysis, your agents, your reporting, it's all there in the CTM platform. So that can be very, very powerful. And this allows us to, have a more simpler setup process. It allows the end users, all of you, to be able to hopefully have a little bit more simpler of a tech stack, because we all know we have too many tools, we have too many logins, we have too many things. So adding another one can just be so burdensome. So working with a platform you already have, like us, or one that you can get multiple different values out of, can be really, really efficient in and of itself. Then you add our really amazing kind of voice AI on top of it, and it can be really powerful. Again, I mentioned some of the secure parts too. It's just worth reiterating. We are HIPAA compliant. We are very secure. We've had data security at our front and center from day one as well. I mentioned earlier the kind of agency use case, but just coming back to this one in particular, because I think this is a really powerful one for us. It's one of the ones that we've talked to everybody about, or talked to our kind of customers a lot about. The way CTM was built and the way that our software, even kind of agnostic of the AI agents, is set up, is that you can have kind of your agencies and your sub agencies, so you can do things on behalf of your clients if you are an agency. Our voice AI functions in that environment as well. So if you're an agency representing a number of other businesses, you can white label the product for distribution to them. You can have different types of access and client control. You can have different reporting within there. We have a ton of really cool integrations with things like Google and Salesforce and HubSpot and the Meta world. We also offer really robust financial incentives. So if you're an agency and also kind of co-selling with us, we want to help make us all a little bit more money in that situation. So we're happy to have those conversations with you through our partner programs. But we really do have that kind of agency use case front and center as well. And so if you do fall into that category and you want to talk to us more about your use case in particular, please do reach out, and we would be happy to talk about that. So I think I've set the stage a little bit there. I've kind of shared a little bit with everybody about why we think this is important, some of the use cases for this, why we think us at CTM, why we are kind of well positioned for this. I'm going to stop talking now and turn it over to Jason, who is one of our experts that has built so many of these voice AI agents, and he's going to take you into the platform and actually show you just how simple it is to get this set up. And then again, we'll have some Q&A at the end where we'd be happy to answer any of those questions, but please keep putting them in the Q&A section at the bottom. I see a few that have come through already, and we can answer them as we go, or save some of them for the end. Jason, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Just getting my screen resituated here. There we go. So you will find the voice AI section in CTM under AI tools, and then voice AI. You see we've removed the beta flag recently, so we are live, generally available with this tool. We're really excited about it. Right off the start here, when you create a new one, the first time you come in, we built a handy wizard that you can click on Get Started, and this will kind of take you step by step and sort of spoon feed you the steps that you would need to set this up. You can also blow past that wizard if you want to and just get to the full setup and all the options. And for our conversation today, that's what I'm going to do. But at the top here, you'll see we've built out a few kind of predefined personas that we've identified that we think are going to apply to a lot of our customers. So the first one is just a general kind of Q&A. So Chris alluded to some of this use case in like a legal space, and the insurance company, they've got people that are just fielding the same questions all day and front end kind of qualifying stuff. So the idea with these is that we've taken away a lot of the configuration and the custom prompting that would normally be required for a voice AI solution like this, and we've really feel like we've made a good shortcut for users to kind of pop these out specifically for this Q&A in this call routing AI, where it's kind of a switchboard based on something that a caller says. We have an indicator of where that call should end up. And then, of course, we have my personal favorite, the custom AI, where we can craft everything. We can really customize all of the prompts and all of the things that we need to build. So we'll just go down and look at some of these options for a Q&A example. We give this a name so we can pick it out of a list. You can have multiple voice AI agents. You can have different routing, different IVR menus or schedules or things that point to your different AI agents that are built for different purposes. A description. So if you've got a real load of these, you might want to have a description that further separates on what the tasks that each of them do. And then a welcome message for callers. So when calls handed off from a number to this voice AI, this is the first thing that the caller is going to hear. And we pick a message or a voice. You have voice choices. And as Chris said, there's lots of vendors out there that are providing the voices. We have a couple of different ones that we're sourcing these from today. And you'll see that we've got these kind of point and click things based on different accents as well as different features. So some of them are more conversational, some of them are more tone aware, some of them support things like DTMF tones where they can make a key press sound or understand a key press sound. You can pick the voices here. You can hit the play button and hear what that voice is going to sound like when it's live and when callers are connected to it. Next is a creativity level. So this is kind of a gauge at how verbose or how terse do we want our voice AI agent to be? Do we want it to really stick to the script and not do any kind of fluff, or do we want this to be a little bit more creative and have a little bit more freedom to talk? Next, we've got a style. So you can imagine, you might have, depending on your business and in the use case here, you might want it to be more formal. If I'm that law firm, I might want it to be as professional as possible, stick to my script. And then you might have one that you want to be more casual, a little bit more conversational. And then there's a super empathetic version. I see this a lot in healthcare, addiction treatment facilities that are taking those frontline calls. We want to be empathetic with patients and prospective patients. Next up is our knowledge bank. So knowledge banks are this centralized repository of information, and this is what's going to inform the voice AI with data. There's a couple different ways that you can add these knowledge bases. You can add files. That would be a PDF file that's got text list of your questions and answers that you want to feed this voice AI with. You can also have this crawl your website. So if you add other knowledge, you can put in a web page that you want to crawl, and we'll take that output that we scrape from the website to inform the voice AI. So this works best if you've got a page that's got a frequently asked questions or a big blob of text to train this voice AI on. Works best, and you can have many voice AI agents that leverage the same knowledge bank materials that you have uploaded in your CTM account. In the settings, we've got a few toggles here for you to use. Include caller context. So this would be if you want the voice AI to reference things that you have in your CTM activity fields. So if I want this to know the name, or if I've got an appointment that was already scheduled with this person, I've got data in fields that are saved to the contact. The voice AI is going to have access to all of that context about the caller, so it'll be a little bit more personable and greeting the people by name and stuff like that. Limit the general knowledge. So a problem that we've seen, and some people might not consider it a problem, but the behavior that we've seen from AI in a lot of regards is it wants to answer anything you ask, regardless of the context. So in a lot of cases, people are paying a per minute fee for this voice AI, so they don't want people calling and asking about the 1986 World Series where the Mets won, or the Super Bowl in 1979. So if you turn on the limit general knowledge, it's going to stick to the instructions or the task at hand. And if it gets kind of a curveball question that's outside of that arena, it's going to politely guide that caller back to the topic. And then this is a recent enhancement that we've added, the live activity awareness. And this is a really cool feature, and this comes out of some of the healthcare customers that we work with. And the live activity awareness allows this voice AI that you're connected to on a live call to have context of other activities. So the application here that we're seeing use in already is, you can imagine I'm on a call and I'm having trouble confirming my email address or my contact information, and I just want to send a text message. So a caller is actually connected on the phone call, you could send a text to that same number that you're talking to, and the voice AI is going to detect and pick up the context of that new message that came in and be able to use that and process that. And it also can detect images. So you can imagine in the healthcare space where I'm going to send a picture of my insurance card, and the voice AI is going to be able to assess from the picture of that insurance card what's the policy number, what's the group ID, and all of that good stuff. So tons of application there. Really excited about that feature. And then we have actions. So, in addition to just going off the text and answering stuff, we can equip this voice AI with some tools that it can use when it's instructed, or when it feels it's time to pull on these tools. So we've got the featured ones here, but if I click to all, you can kind of see all of the activities that are available. I would recommend that you arm this with at least a tool to end the phone call. So when the voice AI thinks that conversation's over with, we've said our goodbyes, then it's going to cleanly end that call. Or if someone's irate and just yelling at it, maybe you can give instructions that, hey, voice AI, just bail out of that phone call. But the other tools will help you do other things with the activities, help you connect to other platforms and stuff like that. So we'll talk through some of these. Updating the contact information. This will allow the voice AI to update our standard contact fields. So you can imagine in a lot of cases, my caller ID might say Baltimore, Maryland, and the email address in my CallTrackingMetrics activity log is going to be blank if I'm a first-time caller and nobody's updated that. But this voice AI might, those might be the first two questions. Can I confirm your name, and can I confirm your email address? And this allows the voice AI to automatically update those CTM contact fields with that data. You can add and remove tags to the phone calls. If you've used CTM at all, you probably are familiar with tags in the activity log, and this is a lever that a lot of people use for reporting and filtering and setting up other automations and workflows that'll happen after this activity based on the presence or absence of different tags. So you can give the voice AI the ability to apply or remove those tags, and then we can give it some specific instruction on which tags should be added. We can transfer a call. This is a cool one because this is a use case that we're seeing a lot on both inbound and outbound calling. We're doing some teeing up with the voice AI. We're asking those qualifying questions. We're capturing the important data, making sure that this person is a right fit that we want to occupy a human salesperson's time with. So when the time is right, the voice AI can call on this tool to transfer the phone call to any of the routing objects that you're familiar with in CallTrackingMetrics. So maybe this is a queue of your salespeople, or this is going to a voicemail or a voicemail box. for someone to leave a message if we don't want to send them to a live person. And then we do have the ability to add custom field capture. And this will take not only those standard contact fields, but any custom fields that you have in the CallTrackingMetrics account. So a lot of our customers build out custom fields beyond the standard off-the-shelf things, appointment dates and anything else that they might want to pick up from the activity and store in a field in CTM. Now, my recommendation for customers is to use this kind of sparingly, because we also have the ability to record this interaction with the voice AI agent. We can transcribe the phone call with the voice AI agent, and then we can do our post processing with our Ask AI feature to capture anything that we want to collect after the actual phone call. And the reason for that is if you start to add a lot of these custom fields, what we've noticed is it can start to degrade the performance of the voice AI agent. And what we really want to do is save all of that, processing power of the voice AI for the customer experience at hand, and then let the post process go back and pick up all the stuff that we want to capture from a custom field. And then we have a few advanced actions. So running a Lambda function, this is a cool one, and Chris touched on this a little bit, but this is, where you can write some code that reaches out to any external software's API, and based on the response that we get from that external API, we can have the voice AI read that back based on a structured input that we provide from this Lambda function. So we've seen some really cool things where we're reaching out, dipping into an inventory somewhere else and reading things specific to that customer based on an API response that we get, as well as sending a text message or sending an email. So we've seen this a lot where people will build this and then they'll offer have the voice AI offer to send a follow-up text message. Would you like me to text you a summary of this conversation when we're done? And the caller can receive that text message automatically without any human intervention to send that. So those are the tools and actions that are available. Some other options that we support here, the max duration. So this is something that customers ask for pretty early on. They don't want this voice AI call going on for 45, 50 minutes, right? So we can set a guardrail here. If the call gets to a certain duration, we're just going to end the call. If we know that, the task at hand should take like 2 or 3 minutes here to field these calls and get them somewhere or end that call, we don't want that going way over. So this is kind of a guardrail there. Update automatically. So as we've gone and made changes, we try to be sensitive and not disrupt people that are already building and scaling with this. So you can toggle this on, and as we push new updates that could be fundamentally changing on some of the structure, if you've got this off, we're not going to update this voice AI with all of those changes. And then a quick and easy toggle. Do you want the calls with this voice AI agent recorded, or is it more sensitive? You don't want it to be recorded at all. So independent of all of our other places where you can toggle on and off recordings, we identified the need to have one here as well. So you can have some voice AIs that might be recorded and other ones that are not. And then after you get through this configuration and save it, we're going to give you a summary here. So you'll get a nice little paragraph of how your voice AI is built, how it should perform. And then you've got to test your voice AI agent. So if you click this button, it's going to simulate a phone call, and you can interact with it and ask some questions and see how it's going to behave, and then quickly iterate on that to change that behavior and update your voice AI. So pretty quick, I went into some elaborate detail on every option here, but you can imagine that once you start rolling through these, it's pretty quick to spin this up, get some test calls going. In the custom AI, we have, this is the only persona, if you will, in the present state that gives you the ability to adjust and customize a prompt. So you get a kind of one-shot prompt to um, train this voice AI, give it instructions on how it's supposed to handle the phone call. Uh, Prompting is it's an art, not a science, I like to say. So, unlike writing like a JavaScript or a Python that has one way, one right way to do it, and if it's not the right way, it's going to fail. The prompt is a little bit more free form. The programming language here is English, so uh, there's a lot of different schools of thought on how to prompt and best practices, and it's still relatively new. What we've found in the iteration and some of the other providers out there that are offering this and doing our research is giving it some structure. So I like to add this kind of structure when I'm building a voice AI prompt to kind of keep it in line and keep it segmented. So in my role, this is who the agent is and how they should sound. In a task, this is what the agent's responsible for. What do we expect them to do on this phone call with a customer or a prospect? Our specifics, the rules and behaviors that the agent must follow, things we want it to do and not do. Uh, the context is background about my business and any edge cases that I want to watch out for and how to address those. And then examples. This does really well. If you feed it a handful of examples, a caller's going to ask for this, you should respond like that. Come up with a few of those and put those in your prompt. And then lastly, notes, final details, reminders to keep the prompt clean and on brand. And then, as I've tested these and gone through these, where I kind of iterate on these is start by adding it into a note, and then based on the behavior and how it handles in the notes, I might move it up to a hard and fast task or a specific rule that's in the prompt. But this is helpful. I think Chris is going to put this in the chat. If you're stuck or not having great success in getting your voice AI to do what you want with these instructions, I recommend trying to break it out in this kind of format. But yeah, that's the under the hood. That's the setup. I'm gonna switch back to my deck here in just a second.
All right, Jason, this is super exciting. That was amazing to see how simple it is to set it up. But what's this cost? What do we let's not keep everybody waiting for that. Let's show that, because I think people are going to be as impressed as you've been so far. I hope you're going to be impressed with this next part as well.
Yeah, so we are super excited through our testing and initial market. We talked about going to market at 18 cents per minute, but we want to be really competitive in the space. We want people to have no reason not to try voice AI with CTM before they look at another vendor, especially if they're already using CTM and they're getting value. They've got, Google Ads connected, and we want to just enhance all of those capabilities and value adds that they're getting from CTM. Should be no reason why you wouldn't give us a chance for the voice AI business. So we're offering this at 12 cents per minute, and that is list price, no commitment, no obligation. We have volume discounts where we can go down. So I'm confident once you test this, try it out, you're going to find lots of ways to use it, and then you can talk to your account manager about getting even more aggressive based on a minimum volume commit. We've also identified here that the people that are going to be successful with this are the people that iterate on it. They make changes. It's not going to, be completely on brand and handle every customer service interaction the way you want it on the first try. So with every voice AI, every AI agent that you build in CTM, we're giving you the first 250 minutes with that agent for free. So we want you to go in and test and iterate and make changes and get this thing perfect before you put it in front of your customers. So we're giving you a little bit of runway to get that done. As far as the plans, this is available on all of our sales engage plans and enterprise plans and in the current landscape and what's available in CTM plans, and then our Connect plan users as well, a legacy plan that we offered. They will have access to the voice AI as well. We know that not everybody's going to want to spend all of the time and do the learning with this on their own, the trial and error. So we're also offering an implementation package, professional services offering, where you will buy a block of hours and you will have a CTM Sherpa to kind of guide you through those initial setups and doing some testing with you. And so by all means, if you call our test number, it's going to prompt you if you want a deeper demo to leave your name and email address, and your account rep will follow back up. You can also leave your email address here with us in the Q&A if you want to talk more about these plans, or just schedule a deeper demo, a conversation with somebody from the team.
I just want to add one thing on this, which is to say I'm super excited about a lot of things, but the price on this is really exciting because it is really competitive. As somebody who came from the contact center and call center world, these prices are really great. So I encourage people to reach out to us and engage. We really do want to kind of set the bar fairly low for entry on this, so that you can try this. The 250 minutes included is a great way to experiment as well. So I look forward to working with a number of on folks on that. So yeah. I know we're at time officially. Jason and I are certainly available and are going to stay on for some questions though. So feel free to drop if you need to from a time perspective. If you have some of your questions that we're going to answer, we're going to happily take those now. I was going to say there's a free gift option as well, which is here. And now again, we'll share this link out after as well. So please feel free to grab that. And thank you so much for listening to us today. And with that, I think Jason will take some questions.
Excellent. Hello, gentlemen. I do have questions for you. Folks have been really curious about the process of this. One of the things that folks really want to know about is outbound calling. We've seen a ton of people asking if we can give more information about that.
Yeah, so we saw pretty quickly, we thought we would start with the inbound use case, and what we found is people immediately went right to the outbound. So it is possible. You can connect this to automated outbound features like the lead reactor. It's available today. The form reactor, someone fills out a form. CallTrackingMetrics has always been able to make a call right away as a result of that form. You'll see voice AI options in both of those products. But that is something that, next on our roadmap, I would say, is absolutely hardening that outbound use case and making sure that the timing and stuff is really nailed down for that outbound use case.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Jason. Yeah, a lot of folks.
Yeah, and sorry, Chris, I would just add to say, like, we have a number of customers that are using it today for that outbound use case. So while we are building more around it, which is exciting and making it even more powerful, I would say we're ready to go today on that. And so, to the extent that that is the use case you want to use, we would be very happy to talk to you about that, because we've got a couple, and quite frankly, some of our bigger customers are using it pretty heavily for that use case. So it's there, it's ready, and it's just going to keep getting better. So yeah, give us a call. We'll be happy to talk about that.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Yeah, a lot of folks were curious about that. Another one that came up is, and this question has appeared in several different variations, but the premise is the same, is talking about the voice AI transferring calls conditionally based on different things that happen in the conversation. One person gave the example of maybe gathering information from a caller and then routing based on the information gathered, while another said, what about being able to route based off of something like area code received by a caller?
Yeah, that should all work great. It's gonna be in the I would lean towards the custom persona, and it's going to be controlled by the prompt and the instructions that you give, and to when is the right place to use the right call transfer tool, because you can build multiple transfer tools or functions, but it's going to be in the instructions when to use the appropriate one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. Definitely questions for that. Um, other
And the area code stuff, so like the transfer call, when we transfer this out to a queue or to an IVR or to an agent, we're going to have all of the context from that caller available. So we would be able to use things like the area code. And then we've also seen where people are doing the custom field capture, and a field is updated, and then based on, conditionally on that field, when it gets to the smart router, we're evaluating where the call is going to end up.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that information, gentlemen. Another thing that keeps coming up is people talking about tying into booking appointments. If you want to touch a little bit more on that, people are curious in terms of what kind of resources are available. Are there any integrations that they might be able to work with, things like that?
Yeah, so we started down the road of a Google Calendar integration, and unfortunately we ran into some snags in just getting the right approvals and validation from like the Google Marketplace to get the application approved. But that should be coming in the next couple of weeks, a Google Calendar integration, and then we will have tools available to the voice AI to both check availability against the calendar that we're linked with, and book the appointment once we find the availability, and then obviously send a confirmation of that meeting. Um, I saw someone mention Calendly in the Q&A. So Calendly and their API is kind of limited, and they don't let us just book an appointment. But what you can do, and even through the Calendly API with any integration, all you can do is kind of send out a link for them to schedule. So similarly, you could use the voice AI with instructions in that send text tool to, hey, when we identify that this person wants to schedule with us on Calendly, the voice AI sends them an email or a text message with the Calendly link where that person can then book the meeting.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. The second one's a two-parter, but once again, they've come up a few different times. The first part is this multilingual?
Yes, it is. Some of the voices may be better than others, but I've done lots of testing. We've seen customers implement it where if you set this up, your prompts all in English, but if you call and start talking Spanish, the voice AI is going to respond in Spanish. There's, depending on the language that or the voice that you choose, there may be different languages that are supported or not supported that fluidly, but yes, for the most part, it is.
Perfect. And the second part is, and once again, not sure how much we know into this right now. People are curious about what the frequency is going to be, if possibly adding new voices.
Yeah, I think we can do that very quickly and easily. So we're going to be listening to customers. If there are specific use cases that you have and the voice options that we have today don't support that, please ask us. It's actually quite simple for us to add voices. So we're not just we wanted to be very conscious and not add like 2000, because then it's a lot of noise to sift through. So we pick the ones we think are really good. But if there's more that you want that we think that you think are good, just ask. We have a lot of options available to us that we can plug in.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Um, This one says, can you offer us any support or help in terms of further prompt building?
Yeah, and we can definitely provide guidance, and that's what the implementation package, kind of the paid implementation, is really geared around. Is kind of those best practices, what we've seen working, in helping you get that started. But there's lots of external tools out there as well. I've had some great success crafting prompts with ChatGPT. There's a tool called Prompt Tester that just launched in the last few weeks, and they have a freemium plan, and that's all they do is evaluate your prompt. So you copy and paste it there. They'll give you feedback. They'll actually give you a grade and then make recommendations. Hey, this is how you can improve the prompt.
Thank you so much for that. I know we're getting close to time, so I'm just going to sneak in a few last
Yeah,
questions.
go for it.
One person wants to know in terms of how will they get notified of updates? If we don't enable the automatic, how can we access those updates?
That's a good question. So,
Yeah, I think.
there's no. Yeah, go
Sorry,
ahead,
Jason.
Chris.
I'm happy to take that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have given this a little bit of thought, and are going to do some reflecting, I think, on our end in terms of how we want to communicate with our customers regarding some of these things. So we're looking at being able to provide kind of regular updates on some of these things. We'll have our public release notes that will share when things get updated. So we want to be very transparent about that. And it's fair to say, and I think an iteration of kind of this question too is, this is a very kind of evolving space right now. A lot of these models we rely on through different providers, the best of the best that's out there, particularly through OpenAI. As I'm sure folks have seen, OpenAI kind of updates their models occasionally too, and then so do we. So a lot of this is when they do an update, we will often push an update as well, because we want to make sure that we're kind of using the best available technology at any given time. So we want to make sure we're being very public and transparent about that.
If you don't subscribe to the CTM chatter, it goes out on LinkedIn, and we'd send emails. The big kind of bigger updates will always be talked about in there. That's where we publish a lot of the release stuff. And then I also I meant to highlight, but it slipped my mind in the VoiceAI setup in the agents. We've got a feedback modal here, so we encourage everybody to use that feedback modal as well. If you're having issues, or you just have some great idea for us on how we could make this better for you, please share those in the feedback modal as well. That goes right to the product and engineering teams.
Yeah. And if I can just maybe end on a closing note here, if that's all right, Chris, there's a few questions I've noticed too, just around compliance and particular use cases with healthcare or emergency services. Just a comment on that is to say, one, we're not in a position to kind of advise on legal or regulatory matters by any means. We would happily have a conversation with folks about best practices, what we've seen work, what we haven't seen work. There are some use cases where voice AI may not be the best solution if it is kind of an emergency or crisis situation. That said, if the alternative is someone going to voicemail or not, a phone call not being answered, it could be really good. So I don't want to give any kind of blanket answers to those types of questions. I've seen a few. Actually, I've seen a bunch come in, but we're happy to talk to you. So give us a call, chat with us about the possibility there, and again, we'll happily share kind of best practices and what we're seeing in the industry, and be happy to work with you through your particular use case that might be unique. If we have not been able to answer your question, We will send some follow-up. We will be in touch. Sorry, Chris, I don't know if that's what you were about to say, but we know there's a few more. I am thrilled with the engagement. It's great. It's great to see everybody have this level of interest and this level of questioning for us. We're happy to answer them. Again, give us a call, reach out to your account manager. If you're an existing customer, reach out, leave your information with us either on the VoiceAI number that we've shared or send us an email directly, and we'd be really, really happy to carry on the conversation. Thank you, Jason, for walking us through this today. Thank you all for joining us, and we really look forward to continuing to work and partner with all of you. Have a wonderful day. Thanks all.
Thanks, Chris. Bye, everyone.